Professor. Just bear in mind it's a long time since my last lecture. I need to find my friend. End of story.
I'm well aware of that. But if you ever hope to find your friend, you will need to know what you are searching for, and what may await you at the end of that search.
It's a new approach to me, but I suppose it couldn't hurt.
My academic research focused primarily on Tibet. I've been fascinated with its religion, its secrets, and its legends ever since I was a young man. I became something of an expert. I held a professorship, and sometimes I even received funding to lead expeditions. The last of these expeditions was with your friend, Yen Wang. As you know, we found a dead monk, pieces of a map, and a gemstone.
The Eye of the Dragon.
Exactly. The remains of the map held clues to a mythologized monastery in the Kembalung Valley. This hidden valley was said to contain the entrance to the legendary Shambhala. At that time, however, I only knew that the Buddhists believed Shambhala to be a kingdom where a dynasty of enlightened kings safeguard the most secret teachings of Buddhism. Of course, I always assumed that Shambhala was a religious myth, but the idea that this place could really exist, it was an exciting prospect. The chance for a truly sensational discovery. Unfortunately, the early onset of winter upset our plans, and we had to give up. I was never able to return to that search. Regardless, I compiled all the knowledge that existed on Shambhala. I studied all the available sources, retranslated old texts. The result was a picture of a mysterious place of indescribable power.
Can you describe it?
An ancient place. And it's not just important to Buddhism. Other religions and cultures also have ties to this location. There, my friend, is where all questions and answers have their origin. So that I may perceive whatever holds the world together in its inmost folds.
I'm not a big one for riddles, Professor. Could you be a little more concrete? I don't need enlightening, I just need my friend's whereabouts.
You may yet find both.
When do we get around to how?
How? By finding Shambhala, of course.
I'm not supposed to understand any of this, am I?
You want me to be concrete? Here's a very concrete story. It is the result of many years of research. About 10,000 years ago, a tribe of hunters and herdsmen discovered a colossal system of caves in the Himalayas. While they were there, their intellectual capacities suddenly grew exponentially. The technical advancements that resulted from this growth allowed them to settle in the caves. The people knew that this must be a very special place. At its center, they could feel a strong energy that seemed to be responsible for their rapid development. For these people, this energy proved to be a gift from the gods. They used this gift to build gigantic underground temple complexes. Within a few generations, a prosperous culture was flourishing. Science, art, and architecture were at a level far beyond what we know today. The people developed both a complex language and the first complete writing system. The energy itself, in combination with the rapid tempo of medical advancement, allowed the people to live to an extremely old age. Illness practically ceased to exist.
And these caves are supposed to be Shambhala?
Yes, I am thoroughly convinced that this is the case. However, you can certainly call it something else if you prefer a different name.
I don't know. Even without the dragon, it all still sounds like a fairy tale.
Well, the dragon... I personally believe that the dragon is merely a symbol, because the story continues.
Go on, then.
Something must have happened, because Shambhala was abandoned. I don't know the exact reason why, but what could have caused the people to leave this wonderful place, apart from a true catastrophe?
You mean they got attacked by dragons?
In a way. The dragon seems to be a metaphor for this sudden catastrophe. I can only speculate on the exact nature of this event. However, I believe it has some connection to the energy of the place.
Okay, so they abandoned Shambhala, but why is the entrance still locked up?
Only a few people survived the catastrophe, and they certainly had good reasons for keeping their knowledge of Shambhala a secret. They trained a sworn caste of priests who passed on this knowledge from generation to generation, and who continue to do so today.
Actually, I think the Nazis killed them all.
But there would be more. The caste of priests established 2 monasteries, far from any other settlements, in which to safeguard the secret. The first monastery was built directly over the only entrance to Shambhala.
In the Kembulung Valley?
Most of the priests stayed in this valley, along with one of the 2 artifacts that can open the entrance.
So you really believe that this secret chamber somehow leads to Shambhala? But that would mean that Richard is already...
Indeed.
But if he's there, can he still be alive? I mean, the dragon metaphor thing.
There's only one way to find out.
We need the second artifact, which is in the other monastery, right?
We can only assume so. The second group of priests hiked over the peaks of the Himalayas, the so-called Lost Horizon, until they reached the region that is part of India today. They hid the other key there, in a temple complex. Unfortunately, I never found out exactly where this temple complex is located.
But we have the Eye of the Dragon, and the engravings in the monastery say it'll reveal the location of the second key.
Only if we have the Keeper's map. And, alas, this is something I've long searched for. The only clues I've found refer to a remarkable map drawn up in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis. For example, this map depicts the ice-free perimeters of the Antarctic. As you know, that continent was first officially discovered in 1820, more than 300 years later. So how could Piri Reis have known back then how the Antarctic continent looked without ice? The admiral, who had a talent for languages, made handwritten notes on the map. According to these notes, he used sources from many thousands of years ago when creating the map. He came across these sources during a trip through the Far East. Unfortunately, only a small fragment of the map still exists today.
And the Nazis have got it.
What?
When you said the Admiral's name, so-and-so Reis, I've heard that name.
Piri Reis?
The German expedition leader, the Countess. She was talking about a map in a Berlin museum, and she mentioned that name. Piri Reis.
My word. Sensational.
It's a chance at any rate. If we can get to the map before the Nazis do...
You want to go to Berlin?
We don't have a choice. It's the only way we can get at the map.
Quite apart from getting into the country at all, the map itself certainly won't be laid out in a display case. How do you expect this to work?
The Olympic Games are on. We just need to look like tourists. Besides, it's a lot more fun if you just worry about these things later. Let's get the eye and get out of here.
If you say so. Lacoste must be finished by now. Let's go. Please wait a moment. The Eye of the Dragon is hidden in the back room.